5-second board is shown, red lights go on, and 20 minutes of racing underway. It's a good start by Peter Dilnott from the outside of the front row in the Porsche, and he steals an early march on the rest of the field. It looks like Chalky White is there in second, and then we'll see who's going to be in third in a moment, but it's a decent lead for that number 69 car of Dilnott, the Porsche 911 for the local driver from Ipswich. But through Riches and down to the Wilson hairpin, White is immediately able to attack and goes round the outside, quite wide he goes. And is he going to get the move done? Yes, he is. So he's got back into the lead. Oh, and that's Gareth Moss, who's got some damage on the front end of his Mazda MX-5, and he's going to pull off the circuit, I think, with that damage. So he's got caught up with somebody in those first couple of corners. I'm afraid to say that's the driver of the number 26 car, Sterling Moss, as he's known, predictably enough, round the left-hander at Palmer. The rest of the field go. It looks like everybody else is surviving, and it is Mark White already with a 8 or 10 car length lead over Peter Dilnott.
James Flint's Ford Fiesta ST150 was quite sideways into the Wilson hairpin. I'm not quite sure if that's the car that the Mazda made contact with, but certainly a suboptimal start to the race for James Flint, but has continued on his way in that 935 car. But Chalky leading the way. So much cornering speed in that Type R compared to the Porsche, which did manage to bolt off the line very nicely, but didn't quite have the speed through Ritchie's to keep the pole sitter at bay. We've got the number 15 Mini Cooper S of George Harvey just making a move on the inside at Brundle on the Luke Arpino Mazda MX-5, and that would have been for around about 10th position, I believe. And that is of course a Class B car for the Mazda, going past what is a Class D car for Arpino, and so very different power to weight ratios between the two cars there.
Yeah, Luke Arpino, who's had, I think, 4 Class D wins so far this season in that bereaved MX-5. He usually goes pretty well, punches above his weight in terms of the overall order. Yes, he's crossed the line 8th at the end of lap 1, although he is under attack there from James Flint's quicker Fiesta, I think, just out of our shot. But it's George Harvey that we're following there around Rich's corner, who's in 7th position overall. Here is Flint in the Fiesta up on the inside of Arpino, and he is going to go into 8th position there. And that's Flint in car number 935. I wonder why he picked 935. It's a very specific number to go for. 27-year-old RAF technician from Columpton. He's done some banger stocks racing, and there's a champion in 2015. This car, 2006 ST150 with a 2-litre Duratec engine in it. Mark White led at the end of the first lap by 2.5 seconds from the rest of the field. As you can see, making its way through there. Peter Seeley in the MR2, number 178, 5th position. He's under attack now from Scott Townsend's well-driven Ford Fiesta, the red car, number 66. Seeley in that MR2. He's done some racing in the MR2 Championship as well, I think, at one point in the past. Green flags there on the exit of Williams, which indicates that there may be a car off. I wonder if that's because Gareth Moss sort of crept through the barriers at the Wilson hairpin and sort of parked somewhere on the exit of Williams. Anyway, here comes Scott Townsend. Can he go around the outside of Peter Seeley into Brundle? No, he can't, seems to be the answer to that question. This is the pair of them disputing 5th position as we're coming towards the end of lap 2.
Yes, and that Townsend car is the one with the Honda K20 engine in it. It's got a run out of Nelson and into Coram. I thought for a moment he was going to have the look on the inside. There was plenty of spits of flame out the back of those cars, but the Army Motorsports run machine, one of a few teams that we have operating cars in this championship. And making their way down the start-finish straight. And once again pops to the outside, does Townsend. Will he out-drag by the time they get to Ritchie's? It's the outside line for the Ford, but it is Peter Seeley's MR2 that just manages to stand its ground on the inside and just about manages to hold on to that 5th place spot for now.
Yeah, good battle going on between these two for 5th and 6th position. George Harvey, I think, wants to buy into this as well in his Mini number 15 too, so we'll see if he can get on terms. So you can see he's got the black cross on the yellow background there, indicating he's a relative newcomer in his first few races. James Flint just behind him, and it's Joshua McClellan, number 55, in the older Honda Civic in his first season of racing, the 27-year-old, in that 1989 Honda Civic with the K24A engine, a self-built car we put together with his friends. Scott Townsend having another go here at Peter Seeley. He's just not giving up. Not necessarily going to be the best thing in terms of getting consistent lap times is this level of intense battling, but hey, you're in there for a race, aren't you, at the end of a day, whatever the point scoring system may be. And the championship will help for the selections to be made for the Burkitt Relay in October as well, entries for which have recently opened. There's always a good representation from the Forces teams, and there have been often handicap winners as well. In particular, the RF have excelled in the Burkitt 6-hour relay at the end of the season. We'll bring that to you on Alpha Live as well in October. Yeah, we'll see how the teams get selected for that. Meanwhile, Townsend has now finally battled his way past Pete Seeley. We've still got 13 minutes of this race left to go though, and Mark White leading it now. Has just come through to complete his 3rd lap. He's leading by 4.5 seconds or more over Peter Dilnott in 2nd place. Jonathan Candler is 3rd. He's now 22 seconds behind the leader, which shows the pace that Mark White does have here this weekend.
Those yellow flags at Oggies are still waving out there, so whatever has parked up at the side of the road there, if anything, it could be some fluid, of course, that has gone down. That may well still be there. We've got Jake Osborne's Renault Clio that's just been in and out of pit lane. Not sure why that was the case. Again, didn't see anything come up to suggest any sort of penalty, but it's come out into traffic. Quite a bandaged front left corner there. So I wonder if he's how recent that is. Whether he's just done that in this race and had the eye patch put on there. We have got a few of the entourages watching along on YouTube. Beth Burrows cheering on for Lionheart Racing. We've got Dean Phillips cheering on the number 92 of Lee Keneally as well in his Citroen Saxo. And we've got one of the 116 trophy cars pulled up to the side. That is Alexander Martin. And that looks to be, is that down at Ritchie's?
It's a long way off, wherever it is.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it's somewhere at that end of the circuit. I can just see it out of our commentary box window. It's just trying to rejoin the circuit. There he is. He was a long way off, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Goodness me. Had to pay entrance to get back in, I think, to the circuit. So he's going to be back into the race. Just looking, I think the yellow flags, they are for Gareth Moss, because he's the only car that stopped out on the circuit. And I think from the information I've seen on my screen, it looks like he was involved in contract with the 44 car, which is the Osborne Clio, which you mentioned had been into the pits.
Yes, so that tracks, doesn't it? So that would be quite recent bandage work on the on the Clio then.
So George Harvey is now doing battle with James Flint, and Harvey's got himself back ahead of Flint here because he was behind at the beginning of this lap. This is the dispute for 8th and 9th positions. They're in different classes B and C, but as you can see, real mixture of the classes. They can battle with one another for overall position as well, and the performance index doesn't take account of the different classes that you're in.
Black and white flag has gone out to Peter Dilnott's Porsche, the 2nd placed car. Now, is that regarding track limits or something more sinister, do you think?
Nothing that I have seen to indicate that it is anything more than a track limits issue, with the driver having possibly just been a little bit over-exuberant at certain parts of the circuit and getting his wheels over the white line or the edge of the curb. So I just need to rein that in if he's to avoid picking up a 5-second penalty, which would be the next sanction if he was to be caught doing that again.
Where can you do track limits here? Actually thinking about it, there's not too many places. It's quite self-policing here, which is good.
Yeah, it's on this particular layout, you don't tend to have a huge amount of issues with it. Perhaps not some of these we'd have had on the old Snetterton layout with the sort of concrete runoff that we had at the old Sear corner, or maybe at the old Russell chicane as well. But yes, I don't think that's going to be a big feature of this weekend. Lots of track limits issues, as it can be at certain other circuits around the country, Silverstone or Brands Hatch, for example. There's some very obvious places where you can try and steal a march on your rivals.
Could potentially be onto the Bentley Straight. I think that curb is wide enough for you to sort of run across there with a little bit of the sort of grasscrete on the exit. Yeah, you can definitely do it there. So that is potentially one of the hot spots, and potentially on the exit of Agostini as well.
So Scott Townsend there has got Joshua McClelland just behind him, and here we've got side by side. This is George Harvey going past Peter Seeley for 7th place. So George Harvey really has hit his straps now. Seeley trying to fight back though through the bomb hole, through that compression there, which can unsettle the cars. No, George Harvey has held on to the position there, but it's McClelland's a bit further up the road now, the yellow Honda, the 1989 car, in a secure 6th position. White, by the way, Chucky White still leading, number 65, by 5 seconds from number 69, Peter Dilnott. 3rd place is number 1, Jonathan Candler. 4th is 7, Kieran Lambourne. And a moment there for George Harvey. He might have undone some of his good work, Chris.
Yes, well, ran wide on the exit of Murray's. That front-wheel drive Mini, of course, really pushing forward through the left-hander, but did have enough of an advantage, or certainly enough grunt on the straight to stay ahead of the MR2 just about of Peter Seeley. So still hanging on to that 7th place spot for now, but he's got to be careful. I noticed that the last time around, look at the understeer, it's gone straight off the road again.
That's a loss of understeer.
Yes, chronic.
And he's going to rejoin, but he's lost a lot of time there with that moment. So, and that's possibly just a bit of an experience telling, isn't it? As Peter Seeley and James Flint have been able to get back through to 7th and 8th places respectively as a result of that misdemeanour up at the Wilton hairpin.
Not doing his performance index any good either.
No, not
that
at
sort
all.
Of thing. Of course, the 2 places he lost there, they were to different class cars. So it's not the end of the world for George Harvey, but still less than ideal to be skating off the road like that, and to be getting all the grass cooped up inside the radiators and inside the wheel arches.
Just looking at the screens, Luke Arpino is in a class of his own. Well, he's not, he's actually in Class D, but as far as that class is concerned, is well clear of anybody else. The next Class D car behind him is in 19th. Arpino's in 11th. He's got a load of Class C cars and invitation and guest cars in between himself and Lee Keneally, who's 2nd place within that class. But Luke Arpino going really well in that number 22 MX-5. Which he's done lots of auto testing in the past. He's based at RAF Lossiemouth, so has a long way to come down. And the roof on that car, which is just coming into the back of shot now, that's handmade, fiberglass and aluminium. It took him 4 months to prepare the roof for that car, which we're not going to fully appreciate from this side-on angle. But no, that's all his own work to create a nice hard top for his MX-5. Not that he needs to keep the rain out today.
You say that, Ian. Yeah, you never know. It's fairly grey out there, and I could have sworn when I was walking around the paddock earlier, just the merest inklings of some droplets.
Hint of drizzle, maybe. But no,
less than a hint.
Yeah.
It was a threatening.
I think last time 750 Motor Club was here in June, we did have quite a heavy rain shower, I think, during a 116 trophy race.
And well, I was talking to a lot of the guys last week. It was an absolute washout.
Really?
Here, yeah, people were trying to get those sneaky extra test days in, and it was just a complete waste of time. People were skating off the road all over the place.
So Luke Arpino goes across the line. He's still there in 11th position and leading Class D. He's all out on his own here, which is good news as far as consistency is concerned. He can get his head down and put in some consistent lap times and hopefully be well placed for the performance index. We're hoping that we'll get performance index scores updated on the TSL timing as well. So we'll see if that works out and be able to give you an update on those before the second race, if that is the case. Mark White's lead has come down, I noticed, the lead in number 65. It's down to just about 4 seconds now. Although, yeah, another lap completed by Peter Dillnott, 4.2 seconds the gap at the end of lap 7, and probably 3 laps to go in this race. There's the number 7 car of Kieran Lambourne, 25-year-old from Con. He is in 4th position, just behind that driver, which is number 1 Jonathan Candler, who is in 3rd position. But Kieran Lambourne, only in his 3rd season of racing in the Army Sports Car Racing prepared car that was reshelled after it was written off at Croft last season. He's in 4th place overall and 2nd place in Class C at the moment. Another BMW out there. You can see there's a great variety of cars in the Armed Forces Race Challenge, and there, for the first time we've seen him in a while, is our race leader Mark White, with just under 4 minutes of the race left to go. A familiar sort of one-eyed look of this car, with just one headlamp in position.
Start calling it the pirate car, like an eye patch.
It does look a little bit like that, doesn't it? But Mark White going very well, looking for his 7th win from 7 in terms of outright results this weekend. And he should be able to see off the challenge, you would think, of Peter Dillnott. Just trying to probably make sure he's lapping consistently now and preserve his lead in the performance index standings. Jonathan Candler was 2nd, James Flint 3rd, Richard Brown 4th in those particular standings coming into this weekend. So 2 races today for these cars, into the last 3 minutes of this one, and they'll also round out our proceedings at the end of day 1 here at Snetterton as well. Usually they do run to a 1-day format, the Armed Forces Race Challenge event.
Oh, he's gone off! The race leader, that was Mark White, the race leader who's gone off the road at Coram. So surely Peter Dillnott will go through into the lead. Has Mark White even been able to get it going? I can see him just rejoining the circuit now out the window.
He's recovered, but he will have lost the lead to Peter Dillnott, who is coming up to the line now. There's White recovering, you can see on the screens, but Dillnott has just come through, and there'll be 2 laps to go, and the gap is 5.4 seconds. Well, this is intriguing all of a sudden. Can Mark White overcome that advantage that Peter Dillnott now has? Oh, but Dillnott's got a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits. I do not believe, well, I do believe that actually, because we've seen him have the black and white flag. But so the lead is not 5.387 seconds, it's 0.387 seconds over Chalky White. And I think he's going to be able to overturn that one, Chris.
Potentially, they have been very closely matched in terms of the lap times since the race began. Oh, not if he keeps doing that, though. Goodness me, he's entered the drift show now as Mark White. That was lovely, lovely gathering up through Parma.
I'm trying to work out if he's trying to really push hard now to regain that lost ground, or if he's got a problem with the car that keeps throwing it off in unexpected directions, as it did at Coram, and then he had to work hard to control it through Parma as well. So let's see how he continues for the remaining lap and a half of this race, if he is going to be able to make up any ground on the road to Peter Dillnott. Now, and that looks like it's going more slowly now.
Yeah, it looks very, very conservative, doesn't it?
Yes. So I wonder if he's actually now got a problem with the car. We'll see.
It's continuing to push on.
Yeah, it's hard to gauge because there's no one immediately around him at the moment. But yeah, this is some drama that we weren't expecting at the end of the Armed Forces Race Challenge race. Peter Dillnott leading then. Mark White 2nd. I mean, they're a long, long way clear of Jonathan Candler in 3rd place. He was 3/4 of a minute behind Dillnott at the end of the previous lap. So I don't think he's going to come into the equation. But yeah, it's going to be an intriguing final lap. Although, having said that, I can now see the checkered flag being prepared. So it might be we're going to get a slightly early checkered flag, which will scupper his chances. So coming up to the line any moment now, I think is going to be Peter Dillnott. And is he going to get the checkered flag this time? Yes, he does. So Peter Dillnott takes victory then on the road. But what is the gap back to Mark? Well, that's more than 5 seconds, isn't it? That is more than 5 seconds.
No, it's led 4.6.
I think that is with the penalty already taken into account, though, because that seems we'll get confirmation of that. But I think that's Dilnot who's going to get the win from White.
You're right. Yeah, his last lap was a 2:14.
Yes, so he did lose 4 seconds. So yes, that makes sense.
That's not just through the slides. He clearly had some sort of a problem. So you're right. That's taken that penalty into account immediately.
Yeah. So it is Dilnot number 69, the Porsche 911 that gets the win. Then number 65, Mark White in the Honda Civic Type R takes second position. Still not yet had our third position driver through. That should be Jonathan Candler. Yeah, he's just emerging through Murray's now and up the centre straight, just up the crest of that slight hill here. You think that Snetterton's pretty flat, but there is just a slight bit of gradient when you actually sort of see it through the camera lens. And then it should be Kieran Lambourne fourth in the BMW, number 7. He's yet to come to the line. So already, though, we've got our race leader on his way in towards Park Fermé, but we've still only got the top 3 having finished the race, so we can't really give you a result yet. Kieran Lambourne does come across the line in 4th now. Joshua McClelland is 5th, but he's making his way only through Murray's right now. Scott Townsend, he's come through to 5th on the last lap, so must have been a problem, I think, for McClelland on the final lap, so he's dropped back down to 6th position. Up to the line he comes now, so he takes 6th. It's going to be Peter Seeley that takes 7th, I think, in the 178 MR2. James Flint is going to take 8th in the number 935 Fiesta. 10th is going to go the way, 9th is going the way of number 15 George Harvey. Then it's Alex Waldeck, a good drive from the back of the grid in the Peugeot, number 23, to get 10th place. So great drive that from Alex, because he started right at the back of the grid. Okay, so already I can see we've got cars heading down into Parc Fermé. Majority of the fields have taken the checkered flag. I can confirm it was Peter Dilnot, number 69, that took the race victory. And in spite of his 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits, he finishes 4.6 seconds ahead of Mark White in second place. They're both Class B cars. The rest of the Class C cars was Jonathan Candler, number 1 in third place. Number 7, Kieran Lambourne was 4th. 5th, number 66, Scott Townsend in the Fiesta. 6th, Joshua McClelland, 55 in the Civic. 7th, 178, Pete Seeley in the MR2. 8th, 9035, James Flint in another Fiesta. 9th, 15, George Harvey in the Mini. 10th, 23, Alex Waldeck in the Peugeot. Luke Arpino, number 22, topped Class D in 11th place overall, ahead of Ben McLaughlin, Paul Waterhouse and Matthew Beach. On to the next screen, that's where you find Mark Jones and Richard Brown and James Hancock and Mark Oliver. Lee Keneally in the Citroen Saxo, 2nd in Class D. Pete McNichol in his Mazda MX-5, 3rd within that class. So that's the first of 2 Armed Forces Race Challenge races for today. They are back out at around about 5:45 this evening. We do go into what's going to be a relatively short lunch break now. We'll get confirmation from race control of exactly when we get the restart, but it's due to be at 2:05, the first race of the afternoon. We'll just see if that's pushed back ever so slightly. And we're going to have the Vulcan Racing Classic Stock Hatch Championship. That's going to be next up here today. Hopefully, though, before then, we're going to be able to head down to Parc Fermé to hear from successful drivers. What I can't see, yes, we can hear now from Kieran. He's down in Parc Fermé talking to our top drivers.
Yes, thank you very much. I think there's a bit of confusion going on down here about who's won the race and what's happened. P2. Yes, apparently a 5-second penalty though.
Have I?
Apparently, that's what I heard. So you were 4 seconds behind.
Oh.
So this is what we're saying. We don't know who's essentially won the race.
Second penalty, do we know what for?
Track limits, apparently.
Well, okay, well, they will adjudicate that, so we'll just see how it goes. But it was a good race, and to be fair, Chalky had me most of the way around, so I was pedalling quite hard to keep out, but just trying to put a bit of pressure on him, and maybe that's what caused him to look in the rear view or something. But anyway, we'll see. It was great fun. Yeah.
Okay, I'm hearing in my ear, that you have won. So
I have won.
I think so. I don't know what's happening, but yeah.
Okay, well, this is what you call live TV, right?
Absolutely.
So, well, whatever the officials decide, it was good fun as always with the Armed Forces Race Challenge, and we love it all coming. Vets like me who left years and years ago, and some of the guys who are serving. It's great camaraderie above anything else and good sport. Yeah.
And obviously, we did speak briefly about the pace at the start there,
Yes.
that you initially got off the line and then he made a fantastic move. So for another race, what could you do?
Well, I think what I should do is just keep my wits about me. I was so pleased with my start. I thought, right, here we go. I can just sort of relax, and then lo and behold, Chalky comes out on the outside. So, but you know, it was good, clean racing. But what was actually the pass was one thing, but he just went, and I struggled to close the gap. So all credit to him. He drove really well. I was working really hard to keep up. I just wish I'd been a little bit closer to him throughout, because I think we would have had a bit of a ding dong. Because I suspect a lap pace was pretty similar, but it was good fun. Yeah.
Yeah, lap pace will look pretty good, but yeah, hopefully, obviously, we can see another battle between you two.
Indeed. All right. Well, thanks very much indeed.
Cheers, thank you. All right, so let's have a chat with Mark White. Mark, firstly, that was an interesting race. So, firstly, before we get to what happened, that move around the outside, just talk to us about that.
Well, I've been going around Coram right at the top of fourth gear, just borderline and hitting the rev limiter, and I thought that's not healthy, so let's try fifth, and I did that for a few laps. And on the lap when I had the moment, the tyres started to go off. I'm just thinking of my excuses. The front tyres started to go off a little bit. I thought I'm a bit wide here, and I was probably going a few miles an hour faster than I was normally. And yeah, just couldn't get it back once it got onto the marbles. But fortunately, I think the car's okay. It drove nicely afterwards. Tyres are obviously full of mud. But yeah, Peter deserved that one, I think. But you think he might have got a penalty?
Well, see, they said apparently he'd got a penalty for 5 seconds. You came 4.6 behind him, but then I heard in my ear that he had one, so I think there's still an element of confusion.
Yeah, sure. Well, if he won it, he deserved it, because I threw it away. But well done to Peter, and hello everyone at home. Thank you very much.
No, cheers. And obviously, just quickly, briefly, so you say more driver error than anything else?
Yeah, it was all me. The tyres were generally going off a little bit. I was pushing really hard because I had a great start, and I could see that Peter was right there. So I really had to keep on it. And yeah, just I think it was 3 laps from the end. I could really feel the tyres going off. It just started to get a bit wide. Got on the marbles. Nothing I could do. It was me.
Well, hopefully the next race will be a bit better for you.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Yes, thank you. All right, let's go and have a chat with Jonathan Candler. Jonathan, if I can just jump in here a second. Interesting race for you as well.
Yeah, I'd say really good start from Kieran in the BMW behind me. I just thought I'd hang out outside and then just pin it all the way around. And then after that, it was a pretty lonely race, to be fair. But it was good. It means for consistency-wise, I keep my head down, do some decent laps. So hopefully we score some good points there. But yeah, lonely race. But yeah, class win, third overall. I'm well happy with that. So yeah, it's gone well.
Do you reckon you can do it again?
That's the plan. Let's go again. I said before my partner and kids are at home, so I said I'll make sure Daddy wins everything. So hopefully I'll do that. Otherwise, I'll be in trouble when I go home.
Absolutely. Well, look forward to seeing it then.
Yeah,
congrats.
thank you very much. Nice one.
Cheers. Thank you. Now, obviously, all the drivers are cooling down from that very hectic race that we still don't really know what happened. But coming up next, we have the lunch break. Now, don't go anywhere because we've got a live pit walk as we walk down the grid, try and chat to some drivers, and we've got an interesting challenge coming up. But that's in a couple of minutes. We'll see you in just a second.